Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another hour of learning here with Michael Stores and, of course, Faber-Castell USA. My name is Leigh Balla Ralston, or I'm also known as Mom Leigh on the internet. It's Wednesday again. It's my favorite day of the week because we get to do this. We get to learn. We get to talk stories. We get to engage. We get to play and do something creative. It's always a pleasure. It always makes me happy, brings me so much joy that you are here doing something for yourself. So a little pat in the back. So good job, guys. Hello and good afternoon. So today, like what Rich said, we are going to do something very zen. I think that's what we did last week also. We did something very zen. We did some mindful journaling. So today, we are going to do a little bit of fall painting. We're going to be working with Faber-Castell's Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers. Now, I did see one of the comments and asking if they don't have they're using a watercolor paint. Absolutely 100%, 100%. I don't know how to speak. 100% that works. Before we get started, I'd like to really quickly say hello to everybody. I'm gonna try and do fast, okay? But I don't know, I'm not gonna do a great job. Hello, Lisa. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Tina. Hello, happy fall. Yes, hi, Buffy. Hi, Karen. Hey, Andrea. I'd love to visit Massachusetts. One day I will, I promise. Susan is from New Jersey. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, Mary. Hello. Hey, Georgiana. Hi, Angie from New Jersey as well. Hey, Cher from Utah. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, Jossie. Hello, everybody. I am broadcasting live from Texas. It is not definitely not fall yet. You know what? I know we're going to get there, maybe around the end of October, but right now my house is cold. Thank you, God. I'm grateful for that. So I'm just going to pretend like it's fall. Okay. Okay. So today, since we are going to be working with watercolor markers, these are my favorite Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers. So these are watercolor pigments in a marker form, right? So we're going to need some palette over here. I have some clear palette to use so I can use them as watercolor instead of using them as a marker, which means, I'm going to be creating my palette here. We're not going to use the marker directly onto the paper, but we're going to prepare our palette here and we're going to use them as a watercolor. So for the one who are asking if you can use a watercolor paint, yes, you may. So for the colors, before we get started, let's talk about the colors. Fall colors. Okay, so I have a very warm gray, a light warm gray in here. I did pull out some of the cold gray as well. We're going to use that. Some dark sepia over here. So some brown, a little bit more warmer brown. This is Indian red, gorgeous color. I have some greens, which I don't know if I'm going to use, but fall color sometimes it does have that. So this is the May Green 170. And then I have Scarlet Red, this one. And then a very green gold, some like golden yellow. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay. All right. So as always, I just want to let everybody know that we are being recorded and this is going to be available tomorrow over at Michael's YouTube channel. So in any case, like, in the middle of a class where something is blurry to you, know that you can watch it again, you can watch the replay and just kind of like, oh, how did we do that again? So it's always nice that it's there and it's available for us. Okay, today I am using my special watercolor paper because I want to gift this to a family member this holiday season. So I'm using my Arches watercolor paper. It is, if not the best watercolor paper out there. And then I did cut down my paper to an 8x10 so that I can frame it. And then I did use my painter's tape, so that I can have a nice edge border across that. Okay, so is everybody ready? Let me pull up my chat, make sure that, hey, Judith, hello. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, so are we ready? Here we go. We're going to start with a wet on wet technique. Now, At this point, a lot of you here have been attending our classes every week, so I'm pretty sure that you know this one already. I'm use my spray bottle. If you don't have a spray bottle, it's okay. Use a clean brush. We want to make sure that your brush is not contaminated with another color, because I'm saying this because I'm guilty of this. Almost clean is what I like to call them, because it's not always clean when I'm using it. But clean brush, clean water. I have a clean water. I have one well to clean my brush, and then one well to really thoroughly clean it, right? To just get rid of the colors. And this one is to thoroughly clean the brush. Okay, so you can just spray it. If you don't have a water, dip your brush, clean brush, and apply water. Now, what you don't want is, you don't want a pool of water in here. And that is why I have a brush in here to make sure that I spread the water all across this paper, so that I don't have like pools of water. We want to distribute that water very nicely on the paper. Now, when it comes to watercolor, I always get asked this question, hey, Lei, is it really important to use, the expensive paper? Now, I want to say that if you are just, still practicing, I don't think so. But then, a lot of artists will probably prove me wrong, because they're going to say, if you buy the best paper out there, then you're going to find watercolor more enjoyable, because, I guess the results are different, the way the inks bloom, or the colors, the pigments blend. But then again, it's not cheap. So, I mean, I think if you're just starting out, I don't think it's really going to hurt to use just, for example, Michael's will have the Artist Loft, and I think I've used it many, many times, especially the series number 2, which is much better one. Then, yeah, use that by all means. So I used my warm gray over here, the light one, and I just added a little bit, because I don't want a whole lot of that color. We just want to do our color blocking, lay down some colors in here, and I'm going to grab some of the brown as well. Again, very little. Judith, the paper, I did cut down mine to an 8 by 10, because I was telling you guys that I am going to frame this later on, and I'm going to gift it. I'm using a round brush. This one is a number 6. You can use a number 4, or even bigger, a number 8, if you like. Now I'm going to start with the lightest gray, and I want to make sure that it's really blended. Now we're going to create our color blocking. I don't want you to overthink this one. Okay, I'm trying to get situated in here. I don't think my brush is that wet, or my paper is that wet. So I might have to wet my paper. The palette, you know what? If you don't have the palette, we always talk about this. Palette you can use if you have like a Ziploc, if you have a packaging plastic that you have, in your stash, in your office, just a plastic one, or this silicone, you may definitely use that. Now, I definitely think that my paper is wet enough, because this one is a special paper. I think it's like requires more water than what I have added. All right, so I'm still in my light gray, and I'm just putting all the colors in here. I think because my paper is so large this time, I should have used a larger round brush in here, but it's okay. Still works. I'm gonna put my cold gray in here. This one, no wrong or right. We would just really want to lay down some colors, so it's not pure white, and we're establishing shadows in here as well. I've come across a very similar painting like this on the internet, and I'm like, I love that. I need to recreate that. I absolutely love it for this fall. So we're going to create a version of what I've seen from my memory. So this is the light gray and the dark gray. Now I'm going to drop down some of the brown. So you can see that I've really diluted it with a lot of water in here. Just going to lay down some colors. Oh, it really does require a lot of water, this paper. I haven't used it in a very long time because, like what I said, it's it is not cheap, the Arches watercolor, but it is so good. Wow. Now, you know me by now that I am very lazy when it comes to waiting for things to dry. So I do have a heat tool, a heat gun. Now, if you don't have it, maybe you have, a hair dryer, a blow dryer. You may definitely use that. I'm gonna grab some of that gray again and just drop it over here. That's gonna look like a ground, establish a darker color in here. I have like parts of the brushes. Some of the hair is over there. So notice how my strokes are just long strokes, vertical strokes, right? Other than here in the corner when I'm kind of just like blending it out because I don't want any sharp lines right now. We are just blocking the colors, laying color here. I'm good with that. See, zoom in, and then sometimes just so you can see. There we go. So nothing special, just color. It's very, very faint as well. And I'm going to grab my heat tool. I'm just going to help it, assist it with drying. Now I am contemplating if I want to add some lettering in this painting. And I'm really thinking, I've been thinking like while I was preparing my supplies, I'm like, do I want to add some lettering here? I don't know yet. And I think it's dry already. Wow, the paper dried first. Parts of the tape are still wet, but the paper maybe still slightly moist, but I think we're getting there. Now, I'm gonna grab some baby wipes just to clean my palette in here. I thought I have some paper towel here in the office. Apparently I do not. I always do. I think I've used all of it. Okay, so now what we are going to do is I'm gonna grab my dark sepia over here and my Indian red. So we want different value of our color brown in here. Excuse me. All right. And then this one, we really want it diluted with a lot of water as well, right? Because we're going to create our background. So this is something that's going to very blurry. We don't want any sharp lines here yet. So I really honestly don't know why I thoroughly dried my paper, but I still feel it. It's slightly moist. I'm like getting ahead of myself in here. I should have kept it wet because we're going to create some blurred lines in here. So what I'm going to do is contradict what I did. I'm just going to kind of spray water in there. I think that should be enough. Just slightly bit more. All right. Now, if you're preparing your colors, if you're using a watercolor, a pen or a tube, I don't know what you're using, but just make sure that the first colors, you have to really mix it well with a lot of water. So, your colors are not vibrant. We really want just to block the white, cover some of the white and create like background shadows, a little bit of that. See some of that brown over there. So it's there, but but it's not there, but it's there. It's color blocking. So you want to make sure that you really dilute it with water. And for this process as well, we really want we just really want light mixture of these colors. We don't want any super vibrant yet. So I'm just going to blend that, wash my brush, and then I'm going to blend this one as well. And to test out if this is still wet, I'm going to really wet my brush in here with a lot of water in that pigment. And I'm just going to start drawing some lines in here. So I can really see that I still have some vibrant. The paper is still not wet. What you're going to notice is that if you're getting anything sharp lines in your paper, that means that your paper, your surface is not wet enough. So we want to make sure we add a little bit more water in here. So just creating. And what you want to do with your lines is you really want to just free flowing with your lines. You don't want a whole lot of control. You don't want sharp lines. And if you can make it more wonky and wiggly, the better it is. So it looks more real. So all we're doing is just adding some blurred lines. Oh, that reminds me of the song. I love that song. So I'm doing my dark brown now. And by changing the way I hold my brush, using the tip of the brush, I would create, much more looser, thinner lines like this. So concentrate on just the lines and just kind of like drop it in there by the tip of the brush. So just like that. I feel like I want to add a little bit more water. So I really just want it very light. So use the tip of the brush to create like thinner, like seeing all the branches in the back, just like that. And here where I can see that really sharp brown over here, I'm just going to add a little bit more water and just kind of like blur it even more. Just add water, blur it out. And then just give it some time, because remember, when your paint is still wet, you're going to get a more opaque color. So you get like a deeper vibrancy of that color. But once it dries with watercolor, it's actually going to lose some of that opaqueness, and it's going to fade even more. So just give it some time. But I feel like it's too much for me. So I'm just adding a little bit in some of the areas where I think is too vibrant, and just kind of lifting some of that color by just pushing them down and blurring it just like this. With watercolor, once you understand with the ratio of water to pigment, and the only thing that's going to help with that is really time and practice. The more you use your medium, the more you're going to realize you're going to really know, your materials. For example, your brush, maybe you're using a different brush and you're like, oh, for example, for me with the paper, right? I thought I had enough water in there, but I'm like, little did I know that this paper requires a little bit more water than usual than my, regular, just very simple paper that I'm using. So it's like, oh, I need more water. So the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you play with it, you're really going to get the hang of that. So I'm just going to clean my palette and just kind of wait for this to dry a little bit. So while I'm waiting for on you guys as well. So let me see. So this, great. I think I'm good. Let's see. I'm gonna wait some of it for to naturally dry. Oh yes, Judith, right? It's so very good. Oh my gosh. It's so awesome. The way that the inks were blending, I mean, I can see the hype now. I mean, I rarely use this, so every time I use it again, it's like brand new to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how amazing this is. Because I'm like, I'm so cheap. I'm like, I don't want to use my good paper. But since this is going to be a gift, I wanted to use a really good paper because the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer markers, are, I'm sorry, these are light fast. So it means my artwork is going to stay vibrant and nice and the colors are not going to fade over time. Yes, they are pricey, but I mean, really, if you want to step up your game when it comes to art, if you're thinking of selling or gifting or, then you really want to step up in the green level. That is the art and graphics. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get fired. No. So we have the green line, which is for the artist line, and then the blue is for the students and enthusiasts, and then now we have the black line, which is for really just even kids or students and all that. But if you really want to step up, then you want to go for that Albrecht Dürer. This is it. But just for having fun, then you can definitely use the Gold Faber Aqua Dual markers, the one that we used last week. Okay, I think I'm going to help this one dry now and then use my heat gun. Just, oh, it's really wet. Ooh, a little bit there. I wonder how much the colors are going to fade once they're completely dry. We're going to see. So a good watercolor paper holds that moisture in there so you'll have time to blend. Awesome. This is awesome. Yep, it's still very, very wet. If I would redo this, I think I would put some of these lines more in the background because they're somewhat in the foreground. I can really see some sharp lines. But you know what? Who knows? I might redo this painting again. Maybe this one I'll keep at home. Keep it here in the office. Do you guys ever display some of your creations? I would highly encourage you to do that. If you're not gifting it to a loved one or a friend, I highly suggest that you display your artwork because you have to be your number one cheerleader. You have to be your number one fan. I think this is dry. You would think my office would have a lot of my artwork. Sometimes I do. But it's just so full of supplies that it gets lost in there. It gets lost. Okay. All right. So now I am going to grab the dark sepia again. Just like this. This time I want a lot of pigment. And then we're going to create a tree that is going to be in the foreground. All right, so prepare your mixture with extra pigment this time around. Maybe I need a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be intense enough. I need a little bit more color. So play around with your ratio of water. You want enough water so that you can spread it easily. If you see your strokes, your brush strokes in there, and it's not gliding to complete your one full stroke, that means you don't have enough water. So that's how you're going to know. Okay, I post and share some of my drawings and take good for you, Cassandra. That's good. Yeah, there we go. Let's support one another. All right. I think this is good enough. Maybe not enough water, maybe a little bit more. I am brave. I should put that water over here because I know I'm going to do a drop. Now I want some of the tree over here coming in from here and then to the left. So from the right to the left is what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to do my best. See, it means that's not enough water and not enough pigment because I'm making like a very big. Wow, this paper is really amazing. It does require a lot of pigments and a lot of water. We are all learning here. So I'm going to go create more mixture and I'm going to put my palette in here because I have been really brave, or another word for it. I'm just going to go follow along. Yep, not enough. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it is the brush. Maybe it doesn't hold enough water. It's like this. And then this one, I'm going to create like almost like half of my tree is not being shown. Definitely not enough mixture in here. Yep, but it's okay. We're gonna keep adding. Wow, this paper is amazing. It does require extra paint though, but wow. The colors are super vibrant. Because with some papers that I've tried, especially just my sketchbook journals, um, I'm like keep wondering, it's like, is it absorbing even the pigments, the colors of, my paint? So now I think this one, the paint stays on top of the paper. Wow, this is pretty cool. Okay, so if you struggle with creating thin strokes, then it means you're not going light enough. So just, go easy, take your time, because I do struggle with that myself, or sometimes using a much smaller brush would help. So we're just going to add water in here. I'm going to create like small, tiny branches. So this one, really just concentrate on the tip of your brush to create those little tiny branches. And again, making them wiggly to make it more realistic. Yeah, sometimes it goes thick every time I kind of like go up, especially when I'm going fast. So just take your time. See here, I was just not being careful enough. I'm just going to add a little bit more here. Like that.
Lay, we have a question from Cecilia, and she
Yes.
wants to know, is it okay to touch the nib directly on the water, or will that disturb the nib?
The nib of your marker? Oh, I wouldn't do that because sometimes, depending on where you live, I have it's only here in Texas. I found a little bit of kind of like mold around the nib, the brush nib of the marker. So maybe those were the times when I'm kind of like dipping some of the marker directly. So I don't think I recommend that one. But again, if you're not in a very humid, maybe it will work. I mean, but I won't try just because of how I experienced it. If I got that question correctly. Okay, so wanted to make sure if it's the marker directly. Okay, perfect. Um, Cassandra said that her drawings are in the wall of her house too, right? In my room, perfect. So I'm gonna add a little bit more here. Guys, when I'm doing my really short, I mean, not short. Why do I keep saying short? Keep thinking about myself. My thin strokes. I'm almost like catching my breath. Like, because I really write super heavy. My pressure is super heavy, so it's like just concentrate on the tip. And it does help sharing that because it might work for you. See, because I keep lollygagging. Look what I did. My goodness graciously. Okay, I talked so much. I'm just going to concentrate on what I'm doing. This is what happens. Now we this one branch sticking like across, maybe for a woodpecker. Okay, I'm going to stop talking too much and concentrate on our work. And I am needing more here. So we're going to grab more pigment, create more mixture. I'm not so worried about this because I can cover it up with some leaves later on. So, if it happens to you, it's okay. Happy mistakes. That's right, Patty. You're right. You're correct. Exactly. So it's like, you know what? That's nature, right? Nature. Nothing's perfect. It kind of is wonky though. We gotta admit. So I'm just making more mixture in here, and then I'm gonna add in here while it's still a little wet so we can add some contrast and really rich color in here. Happy little trees. That's right, Judith. Just intensifying our color. Guys, I don't think I'll ever use another colored paper again after this. Okay, maybe I still will. But the arches, now, now I understand. Now I want to create another branch over here that's maybe kind of like, leaning onto the other side, coming in from my left. So I'm gonna prepare more mixture, just like that. Add some water. Because earlier we needed a lot of water. I don't think my brush was holding enough water for me to go do that. I think I'm gonna go, yep, definitely need more water. Ooh, I like the shape though, because sometimes when your brush is dry, you create some really beautiful textures from it as well. Just makes it even more artistic. Then I'm going to do the same where I'm going to add a little bit of this part of the tree is like on the other side. Like that. And we're going to start adding in our Sometimes though, when I'm like super careful, I don't know if this ever happens to you, that sometimes the more I'm trying to be careful, then the more I mess up. And then I get so frustrated because I'm like, I have been trying to be so careful. And for some reason, it's like the more it messed up, I'm like, you gotta be kidding right now. So I play around with, my speed. Sometimes I would kind of like, let's see if, just kind of like not being so overly careful will give me a better result. It just depends, guys. One is not always the same result. So I'm just gonna add just like a little bit of sticking branches there too. And maybe add a little bit more here. Again, with our branches, we're going to cover it up with some leaves anyway, so we're not trying to be super overly careful there. There. I love it. Then I'm going to go make this one a bit more richer. Add more opacity in that one. Sometimes when you add, when it's drying, because this one, I can still see the paper blooming. This is amazing. And so I'm just like intentionally just making like almost like texture with when I'm laying down the paint, so that maybe when it dries, it's going to add some texture to it, because the wood will have a whole lot of texture in there. This one, I feel like I don't have enough pigment in this, or maybe just not enough water in there. That's why it was drying faster than the rest. Wow. Okay. Definitely, I need to add a bit more opacity in that one. Okay, my blend in here. So I'm just adding like vertical strokes. Again, so maybe that distribution of the pigments will create some texture later on. When they dry. Add a bit there. Almost where we're like the branches connect to the tiny ones. Just add a little bit there. in my in my horizontal branch. And then I'll do my strokes again over here. Add more there. That is a wonky one. I'm not gonna lie. Wow. That's why I was thinking earlier if I want to add some lettering, because we're going to have this space right here. You can add in maybe like a poem, or like a lyrics to a song. I think that would be really nice. I'm also going to use the Indian red just so I can add some warmth to my tree, just a little bit, mix it with the brown, just like that. So while it's still wet, again, that horizontal stroke. No, sorry, the vertical stroke like this. Just be careful because I know myself. That's why it's almost a warning to me than to you. Just adding some of those. And that's the beauty of watercolor, is that you get such different result when it's dry, when it's wet, and then when it dries, you're like, oh, I see some of that colors that I've laid down, later on. So beautiful. So it really just adds to that. And of course, you see the branches are already dry because that's the one that we didn't have a whole lot of water, right? So we don't have a whole lot of moisture in there. So they're drying. And I'm gonna go clean my palette for my oranges and yellows and maybe a bit of green. Wait for this to dry, or just let's assist it. Let's help it out a little bit. And then we're going to see if we need more colors. Because again, when it dries, you're going to lose a lot of that opaqueness, the vibrancy of the color, because look at the branch. I mean, we've used the same color, but as you can see, our branches are tiny branches because they're drying. So they're already fading, right? The color. And that's why you cannot really judge the colors when they're dry because it's so different. You see this part right here, how it's already, right? We're losing the colors. That intense color is gone because this is watercolor. That's the beauty of the watercolor because it is semi-transparent, right? So you can see that texture of the paper. And that's what a good watercolor is. Now, if you want a really opaque, to cover the texture, to lose, to really like the vibrant opaque colors, then you might look at acrylic paints or gouache. Gouache is almost like a watercolor because it blends with watercolor. It's water soluble. But then when it's dry, it's very, very rich and opaque. I am praying that Faber-Castell will come up with some gouache soon enough so we can start working in gouache. Also, it's going to be really fun. My paper is warping. I can see that. Yes, it is. It's okay. I want you to pay attention to over here on this side. So you can see some of that stroke that we've added in there. And I love that that paper is, see how some of the pigment is, oh, this paper is divine. So you can see some of the pigment is concentrated on this side. Now it's up to you if you want to add a bit more color to this, maybe later on, add a little bit more texture. I really want to bring in some warmth. I can see some of the Indian red where we laid it down earlier. See the last part, I can see some of that warmth. I really love that. I love that warmth color of the Indian red of the that was mixed with the dark sepia. Okay, so this time I'm going to grab some of my Scarlet red. I am going to mix because I feel like this is too bright for me, the Scarlet red. So I'm going to mix in, we're going to create our own color. I'm going to mix in the Scarlet red and the Indian red. So I didn't tape my paper down, and when I'm heat to dry, the paper is curling a little. Yeah, I know it is going to warp. It is. I don't think there's any way of stopping it, but it's just kind of like if you didn't tape it down, most of the time I do both ways. So the front and the back of the paper. I think that's what helps minimize it. It's still going to warp. I always kind of like just put in a really heavy book on top of it, and then it just give it some time, and then you'll lose some of that warp. And then once you put it in the frame anyways, I think it's going to be okay. So again, the Scarlet red. Oh, no, 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 no. That's the dark sepia. What am I thinking? That's not the Indian red. So let me clean that. We're going to need the Indian red there. Because the Scarlet red is a little too bright and too orange. So we're mixing the two so we get this nice, rich color that's not super crazy, vibrant, bright, just taking off some of that brightness. Okay, so this time we're going to create the leaves. And what I would like you to do when you're creating the leaves is I want you to leave a little bit of white space because we're going to add a little bit of yellow in here as well. So just, take your time and then use the tip. It's a tapered brush, so it's a brush pen. What you want to do is just apply a little bit of pressure just to kind of like, create that. And some maybe just like this. So again, impressionistic, strokes of the leaves. It doesn't have to be detailed. When we used to do our leaves back like that, that's not what we want for this painting. We want just almost like organic marks, like this one, instead of like a leaf shape like this, right? So almost like irregular dots. That is what we're hoping for. I'm gonna go add a little bit more water to my brush, and I'm just going to add in some of the orange. And again, like what I said, we're going to leave some parts for the yellow. So we're just going to add a bit more in there. And sometimes my hands get really, really heavy. So it's like I hold it here so I can have better control of my brush. I don't know if that will help you, but it's maybe try. Notice how I'm holding my brush close to the tip. And I almost dropped it. So, things to avoid. Noted. Thanks, Lay. Thanks for doing that for me. Just like that. See, it's just almost just like marks. And I'm going to need more paint. So I'm going to grab more of my Scarlet red and my Indian red. And we're going to mix it. Blend, blend, blend. You can actually drop in a little bit of green later on also if you like. That's why I have the May green, but I'm thinking that it might be too bright. Maybe use the earth green in here. Where's my earth green? I have earth green. Just like that. Add a little bit here. See, some are just like dots, like little tiny dots also. And then over here, now because I taped my thing, now I'm gonna have to kind of like play around with my brush. That's the only thing when I'm taping my paper is that I can't move the paper around. I mean, it's nice because I know you can see it much better and you guys don't get dizzy when we're doing class, but in reality is that if I'm doing this here at home and I don't necessarily care about having a border, the edge, then I definitely will not tape the paper. Just like this. So we have that. And then here it's smaller because it's like close to us. Here. While some of them are still wet, I'm going to add my golden yellow, my green gold. Should have been golden yellow. So beautiful. I'm going to drop some clean water in here. Just like that. The brush is the same brush that I was using earlier. It's a number 6 round brush. Again, if you're gonna like have a hard time with like tiny, smaller strokes, then use a smaller brush, maybe a number 4 or number 2. And even on top of the already orange ones that we dropped in earlier, I'm still gonna drop in some of that yellow just to see, just like that. So you can have like beautiful blends. Some of them are already dry, but it's okay. And then the yellow by themselves as well. Here I'm going to drop some of that in that orange. Just to create like a depth in color. So pretty. And then again, just a little bit here and there. So just take your time, use the tip of the brush, and go really light in pressure so that you can really control the size of that organic marks that you are creating. A little bit of that colors in here. Because the tree is here, so we want some of that yellow on top. But anyways, guys, happy fall. I hope that, you know, this fall season was a joyous one for you and your family. I definitely miss fall in Northwest Arkansas. It's beautiful back over there. I truly miss it. Definitely, it's not the same here in Texas, but you know, there's some beauty to it too. And it's nice because, you know, the older I get, as much as I love, you know, cold, my knees are not agreeing with that cold anymore. So it's like, okay, okay. So we get like perfect winter weather in Texas because it's not super cold, you know, it's just beautiful. So you can see some of them, I'm like blending a lot so I can get more like a blob. Let's see. So just play around. I think with this one is like there's no wrong or right in here. Definitely don't miss this part. I didn't add yellow in here. Just like this. This is definitely something you can frame. I hope you frame this one or gift it. You know, a holiday season is coming if you're celebrating. I think it's a beautiful piece of art. It's definitely something that you can gift. All right, I want to know which part of the painting did you enjoy the most? Did you like the wet on wet, you know, when we're creating our color blocking first? A lot of people enjoy adding the details. For example, we can go back in here and add a little bit more details to our tree. And that is what I'm going to do because I'm done with our leaves. But, you know, I want to know. I think I enjoyed I think I enjoyed everything. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Now, I like what I said, I want a little bit of that warmth to my tree. So I'm going to use that Indian red in here. Thank you, Judith. This has been super fun. As always, I mean, every Wednesday, the only change in schedule that we are going to have is on November, guys. Please do check the schedule because I have different days just because I have a lot of things happening in November that we're going to have some different days. So I want you to make sure to check the schedule first. I don't have it on top of my head, but I know our first day is November 4th and then 13th, I think, but something like that. So here I'm just going to add in a little bit of the warmth, and I'm adding like short strokes so that when it dries, it's like an added texture to my tree. Now you can skip this one if you don't want it, you know, but you know me, I love that texture stuff. But as always, we thank you all so much for being here and joining us. It's always my pleasure to be your cheerleader and, you know, friend and classmate. Ooh, I was not careful. Look at me. Play or playtime every Wednesday is something I look forward to every week, and it will not be the same if not for you guys. So thank you all so much for being here. We do appreciate you. And behalf of Michael Stores and Faber-Castell USA, it's been a pleasure doing this class with you, and I cannot wait to see all your projects. You know where to find me at Mommy Lay on Instagram, across social media. If you would like to tag us, at Learn with Michaels, and also for more inspiration and more information about our products, make sure to check out our website. It's fabercastell.com, and follow us on social media. It's at Faber-Castell USA. So this has been so much fun. I know I have a few things to add in here for details behind the camera, and I'm still contemplating if I'm going to add something in the middle here, maybe a quote or a lettering, but it has been so fun doing this with all of you. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next month. We're going to have a lot of spooky fun. So watch out for that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Until next time, stay creative and stay happy. Bye, all.